Welcome back, awesome action toy fans and subscribers. It's time for the next JoyToy Sorrow Expeditionary Forces 9th Legion of the White Iron Cavalry, or 9th Army of the White Iron Cavalry review. This time it is the greatest named action figure of all time. I love this name. It is Firepower Man. Every time I see that, I can't say Firepower. I gotta say Firepower Man. It just makes me laugh and fills me with joy. It's just so humorous. Very, very nice looking. Seems to be mainly the same as the first release. A few exterior differences. Anything on the second release? Maybe, not sure. But does look really quite nice on the picture there. On the back, we can see again the head sculpt. It's got the sword and the shield. It's got that same awesome pistol from the Eliminator. Very nice. That shield looks awesome. Okay, let's have a quick unboxing on cam and get a look. It's called Fire... Oh, it's got a nice big gun as well, which you can't see in the back. It's called Firepower Man. Now I can see the reason why. Because it's got this great big gun on the side here. Looks very nice. Same hands that we see in the other two, which are compatible with the 40k figures, and I think they're the same hands as the 40k figures, I think maybe too, and that great big spear, or halberd, or polearm, whatever you want to call it. Okay, let me unbox this, set them up, and get into review. If you like this sort of content, please consider joining the Patreon, link in the top right, and also in the video description below. The Patreon, we have prize draws, we get extra entries and free entries into the raffle, see content like this early, and exclusive content too. Worth joining, if even just for a month, and you can cancel anytime. Okay, back in an instant. Here he is. He does look pretty good. Any issues? There's one minor issue at the moment. It just closes his lid, I'm gonna call it there. Not really. Maybe it's a couple of issues, but really small. He does. I mean, small issues. I mean, he does look fantastic. He is a mix of body 1 and new parts, not on the body 2. He does look great. See him holding his nice gun there pretty damn well as well. Very cool. So let's get a closer look. Let's start with the accessory, so the boring parts first. Hands, we've seen all these hands already. So that's a left open. We get a right hand. Sorry, I can't see it. Right hand grip, not a gun one because there's no trigger finger. We get a left hand double finger point, and we get the right hand open as well. Okay, he also comes this rather awesome looking shield, very sci-fi, very big, with this handle, and the handle does articulate, which is nice, and this huge spear, which is bigger than him, which is massive. We'll look at that in more detail a bit later as well. Then on to our Firepower Man figure. Best name ever. Does that actually... Doesn't want to close. And that could be a... Is that a head issue or something else? Doesn't want to close, unfortunately. Not tight shut like it should. Keep springing open, but I'll look at that more in a second. No drilled barrel on a gun, but there's a slit, so it's an energy weapon of sorts. Appears to be a little bit loose on the waist. That awesome pistol, same back as the first release. I've just noticed something. If you look at the leg, it says number 3. First release is number 1, and Eliminator says number 2. So at least they are numbering them, which is pretty cool. Very nice indeed. So what are the issues or the little issues I'm talking about? Well, the first thing we just seen, so I'll bring it closer, is that this is not staying closed. I'm not sure what is resisting against it. It looks like, if it's a double joint, you could close it shut. It looks like that the actual back part on the other side is already touching against something. So when you get it down there, it just wants to spring up. I'm not quite sure. So that's just minor. And the other thing is the usual JoyToy thing with the larger 1/10 scale figures like this and the 40k stuff. And that is the handles are too big on the guns, on the spear. And actually, look at the size, the thickness of that. Yeah, they can hold it, but you're going to have to like really force their fingers apart and whatnot. Fingers aren't quite as stiff as the 40k figures, but still very, very stiff. Okay, so let's get let me take his gun off. Let's look at this gun as well. Now this gun, look at that there. I can see that you should be able to. Yeah, you can take off the barrel part there. Not sure why, if it's stowing. It looks like the energy pack or ammo thing can come off too, but that is... Is that moving off? Oh, that is coming off. There we go. So you can take the gun down to 3 pieces. I tell a lie, you can. I can see this one as well. There you go. Because I swapped this part over earlier. You can swap the handle around. So the gun does break down to 4 individual pieces. Now I put the gun over the other side when I set him up, so it's easier for him to hold it with his other arm. And that one just fits in that way there. There we go. Just to pull in and I straight in. Pretty nice gun. If that's the reason why they call him Firepower Man, then why not the other guy's got the other gun? Never mind. Another thing is, it's great having this gun, it's great having that spear, it's great having the shield, but where do you stow him if he's holding one? There's no place to stow the others, which I'm a bit about. At least with the Eliminator, he could stow both his guns, but just not the axes. And then with the first release, who hasn't got a name, he can't stow his big sword. Well, he can. There's not meant to be stowed where I put it. Okay, so let me set him up with this this pole arm, this halberd, this spear and shield, and let's get another look at him. So back in an instant. How good does he look? I actually prefer that to the gun, even though it's not that practical. Instead of getting close first, he does look really, really good. Looks absolutely fantastic, has to be said. And I take back what I said about the thick handles for the shield and the spear. For this one, yeah, handles are too thick. And probably for his pistol as well, which we'll look at in a second. But the shield and the spear aren't too bad. The spear's, it's thinner at the tip here, so you can thread it through. Then when it gets to the thick part, it's actually quite easy just to push it a bit further to hold it, as opposed to stretching his fingers around the fat part first of all. Does hold those particularly well. Hips a little bit loose. He looks great. Okay, the last thing, and this is what I mean by the spear, you can just pull out this way because that part is thinner than the actual handle. And then the last thing to look at is going to be this pistol, which we saw with the Eliminator as well, which is an amazing pistol. I should be the same one, the same colours and everything, I'd imagine. Yeah. So here it is here. Nice pistol, and it does break open. And you can see the rounds inside. Now, if you've got one of these and you've got like a shooting effect from, I think it's Marvel Legends, like I've got here. I think this is a Marvel Legends one. Awesome, look at that. You get a really nice sort of shooting effect to fit with the gun. Don't quote me on a Marvel Legends, I'm just assuming this is a Marvel Legends one. But this gun will work really well with 1/12 scale as well. Really quite cool. Okay, let's have a look at his articulation. And then we'll do size, compare him to his brethren, and wrap up from there. So, first thing, let's have a look at his face first. I haven't really seen that yet. New face sculpt. Pretty cool. Like the double scars on the eyes sort of thing. Was that makeup? I don't know. But this doesn't close all the way, which is a little bit annoying. Okay, so articulation, top to bottom. So the shoulder parts here have articulation, which is nice because it means it won't get completely in the way. Still won't get very far in his shoulders, but having that articulated is nice. Shoulders go up. Not quite to 90. That armor could have been a little bit reduced. There is a shoulder roll forwards and backwards, which is awesome. Really good to help his arms. Look at that. He can actually get his arm to touch his chest, pretty much going across the front, which is really, really quite impressive, especially for a bulky figure. The arms will go all the way around. There is a bicep swivel. There's a double bicep joint, but one side has got a ratchet, so it's going to be a bit there, stiffer to do. Look at that again. Look, you see what action figure can do that? Very difficult pose for action figures to do. Wrist is the barbell joint, so it's good in all directions. I've got to say, from number one, I bought 3 of the number ones, the nameless one, and 2 of those, the right hand keeps popping off. But the number 2, the Eliminator, and this Firepower Man, the hand is fantastic. He's got a barb. The shoulder's too loose. Yeah, there's nothing. See, look, see this arm is so loose. So that is an issue there. He's got a barbell joint from his he's got let me start again. He's got a barbell joint from his torso into his waist. And the socket is jointed, so he's got loads of motion in his waist. Just that having these sort of a belt and stuff here gets in the way. But these are here to hide the gaps. His hips, thus far, which is pretty good for the bulk, before the sculpting gets in the way. Forwards and backwards would be a full split if it wasn't for everything else he's got there. You can see inside there how it's done. Very nice system. Is there a fight? There's no fighters, but he twists from the hip joint. He does have a ratcheted double kneecap. He is quite bulky, but look how tight he gets that. And the actual knee is not ugly when you look on the inside. He has a small boot turn. He has a swivel. He has a small tippy toe. Pretty good dorsiflexation. And he has the toe articulation that JoyToy love to do as well. So very, very nice articulation. And this shoulder now it's dropping down again. Forwards is okay. It just seems to be on the sideways. It doesn't want to stay up, which is a bit of a pity. Okay, let's compare him. Should I tool him up first? In fact, I'm going to tool him up, then compare him with his colleagues. So back in a moment. Here they are. They just look so good together. Now I've tooled him up differently. He's got the shield and the pistol this time, and you can see from Firepower Man and Eliminator, they don't hold the pistols particularly well. The handles are just too big, and there's no suitable right hand to hold them. Even the alternate hand here will not hold it particularly well. The handle needs to be thinner or smaller on the pistol, and you don't want to do that yourself because you start ruining the sculpting on it. Looks really good. I do like the look of this. You see, some of this doesn't make sense to me. But you can mix and match parts. Now I'll say it doesn't make sense because some things should be mixed and matched to make more sense. For example, luckily on the Firepower Man, the nameless one, this part on his wrist here, these can be taken off. Now this might be glued on, but see how quickly his hand came off. These are on a little. You can force them off, which I don't want to do now because I'm going to break it. And the reason I know this is because on my Eliminator, the guy on the left, his forearm section here pops off. And you can see it's just a slot and a groove, which a little bit of glue. So if you could force that off on your number one or number ones, you could get a much better loadout, because I think, first of all, that shouldn't really be on his right hand. That should be his left hand. And that will make more sense, I think, on being on the Firepower Man underneath there. So if he's got his spear in his hand, he's still got another shooting weapon. But that's just my personal opinion. But together, I think they just make a fantastic, really imposing, because they're big, we'll measure in a second, really imposing team. My favourite line in JoyToy, these are Sorrow Expeditionary Forces, even more favourable. I like them even more than the 40k line. So let's just space them apart a little bit. We know the Eliminator, well, we can see the Eliminator is the tallest. There's quite a few different parts in them. Let's get a measurement of our Firepower Man. And from feet to the top of his head, he's approaching 15.5 to 16 cm. Eliminator was about 16, so maybe just a touch shorter than the Eliminator. Fantastic looking toys, really, really, really good, I have to say. To get an idea of scale, if I get my one of my very, very awesome, in fact, nearly all my toys are awesome, not most of them, not all of them, fresh retro figures, and this is where these chain link fence and the base comes from the background. Now he's a combat robot, and he's dwarfed in terms of bulk and in size, and he's not like a tiny figure or anything like that. So these guys are big. If I use a figure which I haven't reviewed, I'm not doing what his name is, like a Shodu box, I think. And these figures a little bit bigger. Again, a robot. You can see that they tower above your other 1/18 scale figures. Use my Sigurd the Adventurer from Boss Fight Studios because more people will be familiar with him and the scale. And again, they just tower above. Fantastic looking figures. JoyToy are knocking them out of the park. There are small issues, but I think those are just minor. There's nothing to distract from how good the toys are. I mean, with this guy, it's his right hand dropping off, which I can fix. And again, just to point out, I said earlier, you can see number 1, number 2, and number 3 in the order that they were released. Great toys, great release. I really do highly recommend these. I've got links in the video description for Locker Toys, Cool Toys Club, and Fly I'm a Toy, JoyToy store, where you can order these at discounts. So it's worth checking those out, see if they've got any in stock. Okay, so Awesome Smash Toys signing out, saying please like, share, subscribe, smash that notification bell icon, and do check out the Patreon, link in the video description below. And I'll see you next video. Stay happy, keep collecting. Bye-bye.